Society tells us that aging is a slow decay, a gradual dimming of our faculties, a relentless march towards decline. We are bombarded with images and narratives that equate youth with vitality, beauty, and potential, while older age is often framed as a period of loss, irrelevance, and physical diminishment. But what if they have it completely backwards? What if this pervasive cultural narrative is not just incomplete, but fundamentally mistaken? What if true mental liberation, a profound and lasting peace, doesn't begin until the frantic desires of youth finally begin to recede, allowing a deeper wisdom to emerge? Perhaps getting older is not simply about losing what we once had, but about gaining a perspective that was difficult to see when we were consumed by the urgency of youth. Imagine a life where the relentless internal pressure to achieve, to acquire, to prove yourself, slowly but surely loosens its grip. This isn't a fantasy. It's a natural, often overlooked gift of the aging process, especially when viewed through the lens of ancient wisdom traditions like Buddhism. Our modern world, with its incessant demands for productivity, constant connectivity, and curated self-presentation, has inadvertently created an epidemic of anxiety. From the moment we are old enough to grasp societal expectations, we are thrust into a race for academic success, for career advancement, for financial security, for the perfect relationship, for an idealized body image, for social validation. This relentless pursuit, fueled by comparison and an insatiable desire for more, leaves many feeling perpetually inadequate, stressed, and profoundly disconnected from their inner selves. The young often carry the heaviest burden of this anxiety, constantly striving to build a future that feels both essential and impossibly distant. They are told to hustle, to grind, to never stop, creating a mental landscape dominated by future worries and past regrets, leaving little room for the present moment. This constant state of striving is exhausting, and it's precisely what aging, when embraced mindfully, can begin to dismantle. With time, we may slowly begin to question whether everything we once felt compelled to chase was truly necessary in the first place. One of the most profound shifts that can occur with age, a shift deeply resonant with Buddhist teachings, is what we might call the gentle dissolution, or even the death, of the egoic drive. In our younger years, much of our motivation stems from the ego, that part of us that seeks to define itself through external achievements, recognition, and possessions. We want to be seen as successful, intelligent, attractive, powerful. We chase promotions, accumulate wealth, strive for social status, and often define our worth by how we measure up against others. This egoic drive is a powerful engine, propelling us forward, but it's also a source of immense suffering. It creates a constant sense of lack, a feeling that we are never quite enough, never quite there. The Buddha taught extensively about the nature of the self as an illusion, a construct of our minds, and how attachment to this constructed self leads to suffering. As we age, a beautiful thing often happens. The sheer exhaustion of maintaining this elaborate egoic structure begins to set in. The urgency to prove oneself, to constantly compete, to relentlessly pursue external validation starts to wane. It's not a sudden collapse, but a gradual, gentle unraveling. We begin to realize that the accolades we once craved don't bring lasting happiness, that the material possessions we accumulated don't fill the inner void, and that the opinions of others hold less power over our sense of self. This isn't a surrender to apathy. It's a liberation. It's the freedom to simply be, rather than constantly do or have. It's a profound relief, like shedding a heavy cloak that we didn't even realize we were wearing. This diminishing of the ego's relentless demands opens up space for something far more authentic and peaceful to emerge. Something that may have been there all along, beneath the constant need to prove ourselves. As the ego's grip loosens, we find ourselves on a path toward equanimity. Equanimity, in Buddhist philosophy, is not indifference or apathy. It is a profound state of mental balance and inner peace, an evenness of mind that remains undisturbed by the ups and downs of life. It's the ability to meet pleasure and pain, success and failure, praise and blame, with a steady heart. In youth, our emotional landscape can be a turbulent sea, tossed by every wave of external circumstance. A compliment can send us soaring. A criticism can plunge us into despair. We are often reactive, easily swayed by our desires and aversions. But with age comes perspective. We accumulate a vast reservoir of experiences, triumphs, and heartbreaks, moments of profound joy and periods of deep sorrow. Through these experiences, we learn that nothing lasts forever, that change is the only constant. We witness the cyclical nature of life, and this understanding fosters a deeper sense of acceptance. The sting of disappointment might still be felt, but it doesn't consume us. The thrill of success might still be enjoyed, but it doesn't define us. We learn to observe our emotions without being swept away by them, to acknowledge thoughts without identifying with them. This cultivated inner stability is a tremendous gift, allowing us to navigate life's inevitable challenges with grace and resilience. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've weathered storms before and emerged stronger, a deep-seated trust in your own capacity to adapt and endure. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming less enslaved by emotions, allowing them to flow through us without dictating our inner state. And perhaps that is one of the quietest forms of wisdom that time can offer. The ability to experience life fully without being completely shaken by every change it brings. This journey towards equanimity naturally leads us to what can be described as the sacred crown of silence. This isn't about literal silence, though a quiet environment can certainly aid its cultivation. Rather, it refers to an inner stillness, a profound sense of peace and quietude that settles within the mind as we age. It's the quieting of the incessant mental chatter, the endless planning, worrying, and rehashing that often dominates our younger years. With the ego's demands softened and equanimity cultivated, the mind becomes less agitated, less prone to distraction. There's a growing comfort with simply being in the present moment, without needing to constantly fill it with noise, entertainment, or activity. This inner silence is not an emptiness, it is a fullness, a rich tapestry of wisdom woven from decades of living, observing, and reflecting. It's the space where intuition can flourish, where deeper insights can arise, and where a profound connection to the present moment can be felt. It's the ability to listen more deeply to others, to nature, and to the subtle whispers of our own inner wisdom. We become less compelled to speak just to fill a void, and more inclined to speak only when we have something meaningful to contribute. We begin to understand that not every thought needs to become a word, and not every moment of silence needs to be filled. This sacred silence is a sanctuary, a place of refuge from the external world's clamor, a source of profound strength and clarity. It's the quiet confidence of someone who has seen much, learned much, and understands that true wisdom often resides not in knowing all the answers, but in knowing how to be present with the questions. It's a profound sense of inner knowing that doesn't need external validation, a deep well of peace that can be drawn upon regardless of external circumstances. And perhaps this is one of the most beautiful things about growing older. We can become less afraid of silence because we no longer need constant external stimulation to feel that we are moving forward. As we settle into this inner quietude and the ego's demands recede, our perspective naturally broadens, leading to a profound shift towards a legacy beyond the self. In youth, the focus is often intensely personal. What will I achieve? What will my life look like? What mark will I leave? While these aspirations are natural and can be motivating, they are still largely self-centered. As we age, and especially as we witness the impermanence of all things, including our own physical selves, the desire to contribute to something larger than our individual existence often grows. The focus shifts from personal accumulation to collective well-being, from individual achievement to shared flourishing. This doesn't mean that personal goals suddenly become meaningless. Rather, we begin to see them within a much larger context. What once felt like a race becomes more like a journey, and what once seemed important only for ourselves can begin to take on meaning through its impact on others. This might manifest as a desire to mentor younger generations, to share accumulated wisdom, to contribute to community, or to engage in causes that benefit society as a whole. It's a recognition of our interconnectedness, a realization that our individual lives are part of a much grander tapestry. The lessons we have learned through our struggles, mistakes, relationships, and experiences can become something valuable when shared with others. The fear of death, which can be a significant source of anxiety in earlier life, often diminishes as we understand that our impact, our love, and our contributions can live on beyond our physical presence. This isn't about seeking immortality. It's about finding meaning in contributing to the ongoing flow of life, in nurturing the seeds of future generations, and in leaving the world a little better than we found it. This shift from self-concern to a broader, more compassionate outlook brings with it a deep sense of purpose and contentment that purely ego-driven pursuits can never provide. It's a profound understanding that true fulfillment comes not from what we take, but from what we give, from the love we share, and the positive ripples we create in the world. In this way, aging can gradually change the question from "What can I still get from life?" to "What can I still give to life?" So when we consider the journey of aging, let us challenge the prevailing narrative of decline. Instead, let us embrace it as a profound opportunity for mental liberation, a natural progression towards deeper wisdom and inner peace. It is a time when the frantic anxieties of youth can give way to a calm equanimity, when the relentless demands of the ego can soften into a gentle acceptance, and when the pursuit of external validation can transform into the discovery of a sacred inner silence. It is a period where our focus can expand beyond ourselves, allowing us to contribute a legacy of wisdom and compassion to the world. The passing of time does not have to mean that life is becoming smaller. In many ways, it can mean that our understanding of what truly matters is becoming clearer. This journey isn't about passively waiting for these changes to happen. It's about mindfully engaging with the process, cultivating awareness, and embracing the profound gifts that each passing year can bring to our minds and spirits. Aging is inevitable, but how we relate to aging is something we can influence. We can meet each passing year with fear and resistance, or we can meet it with curiosity, acceptance, and gratitude for the wisdom that experience can bring. Perhaps getting older is not simply a story of what we lose. Perhaps it is also a story of what we finally learn to let go of. And in that letting go, we may discover something we were searching for all along: a quieter mind, a steadier heart, and a deeper appreciation for simply being alive. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. If this perspective resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with others who might benefit from hearing it. Your support helps us continue to share these insights and create a space where ancient wisdom can meet the challenges of modern life.